Hey guys, I'm Brent. I'm one of the co-founders of ShareGrid. I'm here with the super talented DP, Casey McBeath.
Hey guys, how's it going?
We're here at the Sandbox Media House, owned by ShareGrid member John Lange. Really awesome studio and space. Got to check it out here in North Hollywood. We're also shooting with Tristin Hagen, beautiful model. Really excited to be shooting with her today. But we're here to talk about 7 different ways to light a face with Quasar lights. But why Quasar lights? What's so exciting about them?
Well, Quasar Science is a manufacturer of lights that fall into the new technology that's taken over the industry, and that's LED. So we're talking about low power draw. You can plug tons of these in, still get tons of light out in a single circuit without blowing anything. So great for locations. They don't add heat to your set, which is amazing. They're very cool to the touch, so they're great for putting close to talent, if that's kids or animals especially.
Yep.
I mean, there's a ton of benefits to these things, and they're only getting better.
Plus, Quasar lights are very inexpensive and they're super versatile.
Absolutely.
The ones that we're using, you can just at a flip of a switch go from tungsten to daylight, which is very, very, very helpful. So with that, we took on the challenge to come up with 7 different ways to light a face, just using quasars as our light source. Here we go. So the first setup we did is nothing new. Everyone understands 3-point lighting. It's a very traditional lighting where we have a key, a fill, and a backlight. How did we do this?
So what we did is we started off with our talent on set. We brought in 3 on a plate, so that way they could be mounted all together. It was a little hard just with those, so we brought in a 6x6 of half grid. We just T-boned that and dropped it in front. Quasars are already soft in one direction, but by adding that diffusion material, we were able to make that source even bigger, and it became very flattering. So once our key light was set up, we went over to the fill, and that was just 2 more quasars on that side, bare bulb, horizontal, which was nice and soft along the axis of her face. After that, we just had a backlight to deal with, so we brought in one of our quasars at a 45-degree angle to highlight more the side of her hair and bring out a lot more color there. And that was really all we did to make that work.
So next up is glamour lighting. This is an old Hollywood technique used on classic actresses where you'd put a light right above the subject, one single source, which was a much more flattering way to light someone.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we did for this, we brought in some quasars very close to our actress face by bringing them in close. We were able to use the inverse square law to really make her face pop while exposing for that, and having the rest of her body fall off a little bit darker. We did try to increase that effect by bringing in a net just to help slow down her shirt and any of the reflections kicked up from that. Now, of course, quasars are a long 4-foot source in the case of the ones we're using today. So to help make those feel a little bit harder, we brought in a solid to help block off some of the light, thus kind of firming up the light and giving it a little bit more of the kick that we see in those old photos.
And lastly, we added a little bit of backlight just to give her hair a little bit of a pop, which is typical in Hollywood glamour lighting.
So the next setup we tackled was a high contrast scene, and for that we brought 2 quasars dead to the side of our actress with no fill.
Yep, we even brought in negative fill, right? Just to block out any light on the other side.
We really did. The only other thing we added to the scene is a small background light to help add a little gradient. That also actually kicked off the wall to give our actress a little bit of a light right on the edge of her jawline, helping to round out the side of her face and just give an overall kind of mystery to who she was.
Now this is a very intentional look, so you want to think about your character. Maybe they're going through a little bit of a conflict or some transition, and this is an easy way to show that.
Now we did add an alt for this where we have the character looking directly at the light source, and we pushed it a little further down frame just to keep her camera side a little bit more in the shadows, just to give you guys an idea of what that looks like, because that's a great look for a lot of music video pieces or any sort of dramatic retellings.
Next up is underglow lighting. This is a really interesting one because it's not the most flattering way to light someone, but there's a lot of scenes that require it. There's bar scenes, there's campfire scenes, there's even scenes in cars where the dash is illuminating your subject from below. So we wanted to emulate that, but keep it kind of flattering.
Right, and so one of the things we did for that is we had a variety of quasars with us, so we used a 2-foot section. So it was a little bit harder than the 4-footers, so it didn't totally destroy all the shadows in her face, but it left us with just enough to where we could move it around and angle it and put those shadows where we wanted to. Now, of course, taking any light very low is going to cause a lot of shadows on the tops of noses, on the tops of cheeks, and really kind of do odd things with a character's face. So one of the things we did to combat that is we ballooned some 250 diffusion over it just to really make that source a little bit bigger, and that did a lot for just softening up the light and making it work a little bit better. Once we had all those things in the right places, we brought in a piece of foam core just to kind of reflect some of that light back into them, just to kind of balance the scene a little bit more. And in post, if you wanted to bring these shadows down further, you could, but we got this to a place that we were really happy with.
Next up is ring lighting. This is a beautiful way to light someone. You use it in a lot of commercials. It's very flattering, low contrast. It's a great way to make your subject look awesome.
So ring lighting is highly stylized and very glamorous. It's something very fun to pull out, and you'll see some amazing stuff depending on how much time you have to rig, how elaborate you want to get with the designs. We went with a simple square just to make sure we still had light coming from top, bottom, and the sides. It filled in our actress's face wonderfully. It sent shadows off in every direction, very soft, very attractive, and those eye lights, incredibly captivating.
Next up, we did the double edge backlight. This is one of my favorites. It's super striking, it's beautiful, it's really purposeful, which I love. It brings out a lot of structure in the face, it's symmetrical, but how do we do it?
So for this one, one of the big things was symmetry. So we brought in our lights equal distant on each side of her, but we made particularly sure to pay attention to position so we weren't bringing out too many of her facial features with just that hot edge. In front of her, we put a big piece of foam core and we lit that with one more quasar just aimed up into the foam core. And that gave us a nice soft light falling down her face, bringing out some shadows in the cheeks, under the eyebrows. Overall, very attractive, very simple.
All right, last but not least, this is a bonus one. I don't even know what to call it. The Dana Dolly light, the XEROX light.
Scanner darkly, I don't know.
It's something, but it's awesome. It was so cool. This is something you can use in a music video or a dream sequence, but how did we do it?
Well, for this one, we just decided to strap some lights to a Dana Dolly and see what happens. So we mounted the Dana Dolly in front of and just above our talent. We rigged our lights off of that and just simply had somebody pushing it across the scene and back. And it was amazingly interesting. The moving light, the textures of the shadow, it really kind of kept changing the actress's face. It was kind of otherworldly.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. All right, guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. That was fun. That was so
amazing.
Easy. I thought this was going to be really hard, and man, it was easy. LED lights are awesome. Quasar lights are so fun and so versatile to use.
Yeah, this was an incredible experience, just kind of really experimenting with what you can do with just one tool, and you guys, there's so much more you can do, so get out there and try it.
Again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Comment below. I love reading your comments, answering any of your questions, but most importantly, don't forget to get out there and start creating.